Alright guys, in today's video I'm just going to go over this replay that I just had about a half hour ago, looks like. Been playing some frogs. Last 4 games were all frogs. I had a really big losing streak last week because I was trying to make GBs work and it was not working. So yesterday and today I just decided to play some Bayou Turbo and some frogs and just play decks that make a lot more sense to put effort into. And frog deck seems really insane. And this last one actually was a decent game. The guy was playing Bayou Turbo, and I'm just starting to see the crazy lines in frogs a lot more. The problem is, it's not really a problem, but the power level of the deck really seems to depend on if you draw Subzitoad or not. The deck's fine if you don't. I'm just saying, like, when you do, the power level is really insane. So here I'm just starting off with you know, Stratos, Prodigy, because I have Subzitoad, and then, you know, they're doing Bayou Turbo things, and by all accounts, I mean, their hand is good, right? So that's why I felt like showing this one, because it wasn't like they were just playing some garbage. Making sure they don't have Dust Shoot here, give them the opportunity to use it before I just special Prodigy. But I mean, I still had Caius anyway to take out the Arm Wing and then attack over Grepher, and then, you know, we're just doing frog things. I feel comfortable putting both Treeborns in grave because no one's going to main Soul Release, right? And, you know, I'm saving this so that way I can go into Unifrog, and then I of course have Miracle Fusion, so I get rid of the Prodigy and one of the million frogs I just dumped. And I'm attacking over Grepher because that can turn into scary things, whereas Arm Wing is just a 2300 vanilla at this point. And I'm thinking between Regeki Break and the Unifrog I'm going to get, I can just end their entire board, not to mention the Caius, so this is why I just go ahead and set it. And then here I'm just picking apart the board, you know, getting rid of the back row. And now I debated here for a second if I should just remove the Arm Wing or the face down, but something was just telling me to get rid of the face down. I had a feeling it might be Raikou, and so I just went for that instead. And then they scooped, because they would still have to deal with the absolute 0 if I attack into it and it is Raikou, right? Or even if it's Hamster, then they get Raikou and then they can pop it for free. So now this hand I thought I was going to lose because whenever you open like a lot of frogs like this, it's really I don't know, as a when you play frogs, it feels really bad. It feels like your deck went from being like tier 1 or 2, even tier like 0.5 to tier like 2, tier 2.5, but you know, you can draw out of it, right? So he sets one. I'm assuming, you know, it's probably a Raikou or something like that. And so since I already had Treeborn in my hand and I can pitch it to special swap at any point, I decided to go for the hero half of my deck, so that way the miracles aren't dead. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me to summon swap here, pitch Treeborn, bounce swap, and then just be open for anything. So at least this way, you know, I can block a little bit of damage by having a Stratos on the board, which isn't much. And here I wasn't sure if it was a Hamster or a Raikou, so I just pass. Because I can either run into it now or I can flip, and it's a difference of like me taking 200 damage. Now you could tribute it for a Caius and then I wouldn't have access to a hero, but I mean, that's really like the only downside. Okay, and this is where I find out he sides Soul Release, and so whenever I go up against a deck that, or anyone that I think might run Soul Release, I just keep one Treeborn in the deck, which is, you know, pretty self-explanatory and standard. But I was a little sad to see this, and I mean, you can tell that he just sides like crazy for the matchup. I mean, that's Soul Release, Dyna, and Pull the Rug. And it's just, that's how bad the matchup is, right? So this is exactly why I went for the hero play, because I knew I could just do this anytime I wanted to. And I'm just thinning out my deck here. And then I sit there and I think for a while, and I'm not sure. I think I was just like, you know what, if this is like a value or something, then I'm potentially robbing him of having access to like an arm wing and like plague play. And so I was like, well, you know, if I just attack over the card trooper, it's not a minus for them like normal combat victory is, but at least he'll still take 2,000 damage. And whatever this is, it won't do anything for him. And also I was like, if it's a Ryko or something, then he won't get mills, which could give him access to more plays. And so I ended up actually just removing that instead, and then attacking over the card trooper just felt like better to me than doing it the other way. So now my opponent's hand is stacked, and all I have going for me is a Caius pretty much. So Greffer, Pitch Plague, Bayou. See, I don't know right here if they actually should have pitched the Necrogardna. So that way next turn they can pitch the Plague and something else. You know, I'm not sure if that was right or not. No, he just wants to go for it right now. That's what it was. Oh, that's right. He wanted to make Goyo really badly. All right. And then right here, I just thought we were going to go to a game 3 because it's not looking too great. I'm like, all right, I'll take 400. And I just gave it to him, 23. Gores would have been really nice to have here, obviously. What did he just set? Oh, he set return, huh? And I drew Miracle, so I was very happy about that, and I was really happy about choosing to summon Stratos that first turn, even though it was obvious. You know, I've been bouncing around, playing a lot of decks, and you know, I really need to just play like, you know, 3 at the most, probably just 2, or maybe even just 1 to really understand its in and outs. But was really glad I played the Stratos. I'm just thinking here, I'm just going for you know, attacking over one of the creatures. If he answers it, that's fine. His board's going away. And then here, I think right here was where I misplayed. I'm like, I should have just summoned the Swap Frog first, pitched, and then Swap Frog bounced and then made the play. Because in my head, I was like, you know, this can't run this over. So all this was just a misplay. I think I just realized I could also summon Swap Frog this turn and just thin out my deck a little bit. And I should have just done that first. And then here, I should have bounced this every single time first before I attacked. And I realized as soon as I pressed the BP button, I was like, oh no. But I didn't feel like getting into it with my opponent or trying to go back to M1. So I just, you know, sucked it up and risked it being Mirror Force. And luckily it was not. Oh, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. I'm insane. I wanted this on the board to have this be 3,000 attack so I can actually kill this, but I was also like, well, there's merit in just bouncing this, and if he kills it, his board gets wiped anyway. But so I'm not actually sure what was right there, but I remember now I wanted a water monster to run over the Goyo. That's what it was. So he returned here, and I just thought for sure I was dead. Still not really sure how I didn't die here. Oh, no. He returned, and I was like, okay, well, I have absolute 0. So unless he has like a way to book this, I was like glad that we're not in like an XYZ era where you could like Maestro kit and then get rid of it. So he makes an 8. Okay, yeah, and here I was like, this is super sick. Oh, I was worried about him. That's what I was worried about him doing. So all he had to do here to win this game was make Stardust here, and then stack for Plague, and then Synchro for Darkened with over the arm wing, and then do it, and then Stardust would have negated it. So that would have won him this game. So this is just him not knowing that he can just make Stardust and then Dark End, and then I lose the game. So absolutely should have done that. I think he had this in his head instead, and going for this, and then attributing it for vanities, which is it's all just way too much. I really hope I didn't let him summon again. And then again here, I'm like, wow, I just can't stop drawing frogs. I definitely should have lost this game, and I started smashing for this very reason. Okay, so another Ryko. I'm like, I'll thin out the deck some, and I figured this is probably a Ryko. So I'm like, I'll just let him kill, you know, my Dupe Frog or whatever. I didn't super care. And then I realized right here I could bounce the Treeborn and set the Regeki break and just get a free Regeki break, basically. And I didn't know what that was, so I was like, you know what, just go away. And right here, I was really hoping that he did not have Gores. And I do the same play because I top deck Regeki break. So I'm like, okay, so 2 free Regeki breaks is pretty good. Set up some more defense. I'm only at 2,800. He summons Sirocco, he stacks for Plague, and then I was hoping he didn't have Brain Control. I was like well aware he could have Brain Control here, but I'm like, even if he does, it's not that bad for me. And if he doesn't, I think I just win. So I got rid of that because I'm like, the tuner or something my Swap Frog can actually run over if it needs to. And then he chains all the way up to this thing. Brain controls me. And I thought right here I was going to lose because I thought he was going to make Armory Arm. And right there I debated for a while if I wanted to get Unifrog or whatever. And I decided to get Unifrog because if, you know, Treeborn comes out, I can Unifrog, potentially blow up what might be a back row in his hand. And then I can, you know, make a play if I top deck like a Miracle or something. So I just decided to get the Unifrog, which could have been a misplay. Maybe it should have been, you know, swap back to my hand, but I also didn't want to draw the Unifrog either. And yeah, right there I was really wondering why he didn't go for Armory Arm, and he's only at 1100. And so I was like, you know, this is game. Win a lot of games with this piercing damage, by the way. It's one of the reasons why I don't want to go Malicious, or I haven't yet, because Prodigy Subzito is a really easy dupe lock combo, and this guy wins a lot of games, especially in a Raikou Hamster Caius format, right? So it just seemed like that made sense. Yeah, and he's saying he forgot about that, and I asked him if he had Armory Arm, and then he showed me, you know, that he just didn't have one in his extra. And I like having one in my extra if I have a level 2 tuner. Because if I have Brain Control, then I can out the dupe block by Brain Controlling and then making an Armory Arm. But he just didn't have one, but I think he should have just beat me anyway by making Stardust first and then making the Dark End, and then I just, you know, I think I just would have lost. But getting better with the deck for sure. I'm I guess I'll show the build. I should probably do that, right? Let's see, does that, oh, it did toggle over nicely. So this is the current build, and there seems to be very little like really broken things to do without 1-for-1 or Subzitoad. If you open up 1-for-1 or Subzitoad, there's like a million combinations to do something really crazy. The Junk Synchron pluses with like Swap Frog and stuff is pretty cool for like just bouncing the Junk back or bouncing the Monarch back, something like that. I'm not super sold on this second Econ at the moment, but I mean, it's just Brain Control, pseudo Brain Control on this deck, and that seems pretty good. But I want to increase my odds of seeing these broken combos early, so it's like I'm then thinking about like cutting a Treeborn, cutting an Econ, cutting another card somewhere, and then running like triple Upstart just to give me more ways of drawing broken at the beginning. And I actually just took out the Upstarts right before this game because I've been on and off with testing the Dandelion, and the second Econ wasn't in here. Oh, that's what I did. I put in the second Junk Synchron, the Dandy, and a second Econ, and I took out the 3 Upstarts because I'm just trying to find more ways of opening up crazy, like Future Fusion with Subzitoad, for example, gives you the 2 tokens, and then you can pop off with the Subzitoad. So, yeah, I like it a lot right now, and I think it's really cool that there's like a million ways to just even build Hero Frogs. The Trag is another flex spot. It's really good early. It really sucks late. So the Trag is like another thing I could potentially take out. Like I could take out Trag, Junk, and Enemy Controller, and then still have access to all the good plays. I actually really like how that sounds, actually. I've even ran a lure at some points when I was running like you know, way back when I found out about Edison like 2 years ago, I was running like triple Fader, Trag Gores, triple Caius, Prodigy, you know, so I thought maybe Allure would be a decent enough card, but took a really long break from Edison, and there was no local scene for a while. But I found a shop that's like an hour and 8 minutes from my house, and they basically do an Edison tournament every other week. And then there's another shop that's like an hour and 10 minutes in the other direction from my house, and they're going to do an Edison tournament the last Saturday of every month. And there's another local shop that is coming to my area that's like 10 minutes away, hopefully in July, and the owner said he's going to do Edison tournaments every week. So basically I was in an Edison drought, and now I'm about to be drowned in Edison tournaments. So now I'm really starting to play a lot more this month. But if you know any like strong frog combos or anything, you just put them in the description. I'm aware of like the Junk Synchron ones. I'm aware of like the Future Fusion Dandy ones. I'm aware of like Subzitoad, you know, water e-call combinations, you know, Swap Frog water Subzitoad combinations. Everything I just said, substitute 1-for-1 with Subzitoad. I'm aware of Junk Synchron 1-for-1 combinations. You know, I'm aware of all that. But yeah, if there's really strong things to do with frogs without seeing Subzitoad, that would be cool. Or 1-for-1. The frog deck that was just on Fraser's channel, I thought it was cool with the Foolish and salvaging back like Subzitoad and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool. I wish there was a way to like utilize that here. You know, and then you could even have like Foolish Subzitoad, but again, you still need the Subzitoad instead of Dandelion Subzitoad or Future Fusion Subzitoad, excuse me. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. This is supposed to be the ace, you know, up my sleeve in the mirror match. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go to a second econ, because I think if this resolves in the mirror match, you just win, right? And I expect it to be a really popular thing if I go to a tournament that matters. The matchup against Vayu Turbo is already good. So I'm like, if I can sure up the mirror match and Vayu Turbo is good, then, you know, I should be able to beat, you know, basically anything. And the Triple Dust is obviously for Blackwing because Whirlwind's insane. But hopefully you enjoyed the recap, and I'll see you guys soon.